Michael, how do I identify a plant that I don't know what it is?
Well, you can use a dichotomous key. And in front of us, we have a bunch of books that have keys in them. And a dichotomous key, you break the word down, dichotomous. It's two parts. So it's a key that gives you two choices. And so what a lot of these books do is they have a list in them that gives you it will ask you a question. It will give you a choice to go to A or B.
Okay.
And depending on what you observe, you would go to either one of those next steps. And you can go down further through the key and eventually arrive, hopefully, at the correct plant.
Okay.
But you need to know some information before you can use a key. So you need to know leaf shapes. You need to know some of the terminology that's used in the keys. Because, for example, here, if I read this one, leaves smooth-edged, toothed or lobed, but not divided into leaflets. So there's some words there that you need to know what they mean. What do they mean by toothed or lobed? And what do they mean by not divided into leaflets?
Okay.
So you learn some basic terminology, and then you can go through this key step by step, and we can key out a plant, which we're gonna do. We're gonna go down onto the lawn, we're gonna look at a tree that hopefully you don't know, and we're gonna work through the keys and see if we can arrive at the right conclusion for that plant.
Excellent. So Mike, I have this app on my phone that I can identify plants with. What's the difference between this and that?
That's a good question. So apps on phones are great. Some are better than others, and the app will depend on how much data is in there. So I've seen some apps where they only have 100 plants, and there are over 400,000 plants in the world. We're not even talking about cultivars then. So there's some limitations to the apps. As they are used and the databases are built and become more comprehensive, they do a better job. However, I still rely on a key because a key gets into the specific details. Apps usually, you take a picture and it searches its database for that image or a related image.
Okay.
So it can get near to a plant, or if you photographed a larger leaf on a plant and it's just one leaf that happens to be large, it misinforms the apps as well. So with this, you're looking at the entire plant all the time. With a camera, you're shooting in it to a very specific area. And if you look at these keys here, you'll see there's a lot of detail in them. There's a lot of reinforcing the questions, and they're giving you, in some of these keys, they're giving you 3 things to look at in that one question. So these are much more comprehensive, much more authoritative, and they're used by professionals in botanic gardens, in herbariums, where they're keying out unknown plants. They're always going back to the keys as opposed to using an app, because if it's a plant that hasn't been recognized before, or a newly discovered plant, it's not going to be in any of these apps as well. Okay. If we look at the options that we've got available to us, we've got apps, which are great. They can get us quickly to maybe to a specific plant, but in most cases to a broad area of plants. We've got websites, our website, World Plants, and then we've got these keys as well, and the books, which are really, I would say that these are the final authority. So you can use the app, and then if you're still hesitant, then I would confirm through a key.
To get a base.
Yeah, so this could speed up the process, get you halfway through a key, and then you could use the key to finish it as well.
That makes sense. So I have this Trees of Ontario book here, Mike, and I've turned to page for the key to families and genera.
Yep. So what's the first question that they're asking?
Trees not producing true flowers, seeds born in cones, leaves reduced to needles or scales, usually evergreen.
Okay, so we know that these are not needle. There's the fruit.
Yes.
Not cones. So you go to 1B.
Trees producing true, though sometimes very tiny flowers, leaves broader, not needle-like or scale-like.
Right, so go to number 3.
So we have to transfer to 3. So 3A, leaves divided into leaflets, compound.
Yep, so there's a compound leaf. So we got leaflets, so it answers that question.
Okay, so transfer to 4. Fruits winged samaras.
So here are the fruit.
Okay.
So they're not winged samaras.
They're not winged samaras.
So then you jump to number 8.
Switch page. Fruits thick husked capsules containing a nut or large nut-like seed. So I switch to 9. Leaves opposite, palmately divided into 5 to 9 leaflets.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep.
So that leaves us
2, right to there.
to horse chestnut family.
Yep.
So
And this is Aesculus. And now you need to go to the specifics.
Page
190, 191, because that just put us to the genus. So now we need to qualify which species it is.
Exactly. Okay. Now that I'm looking at this photo,
The horse chestnut.
horse chestnut.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's definitely not this one, the
Uh-huh.
Ohio buckeye.
No.
It's the horse chestnut. The fruit lineup, the size of the leaves, etc. Yeah, so this is Aesculus hippocassinum, the horse chestnut. And you keyed it out in about 5 steps.
That by pretty quick as well.
Yeah.
So the Trees of Ontario book showed us that it was a horse chestnut. Let's see how accurate the app can be. So the first option, it actually popped up as a shagbark hickory, and then to an Ohio buckeye, and then the last option is horse chestnut.
So you've got 3 choices there that you've got to go through further
Exactly.
to determine which it is. And this is a pretty good app. Not all apps are created equal. Okay, so we're here with Amadeo, horticulturalist in the Mac Cuddy Botanic Gardens. Amadeo, you're going to try to identify this tree using an app, right?
Yes.
And then I'm going to confirm the identification with the key.
So I've gotten two results
Okay,
now.
and what are the results?
First one being Kentucky coffee tree, second one being a yellowwood.
Yellowwood.
So I don't know which one is which.
Okay.
How do I identify it?
So I've got a key, and there's a series of questions. So obviously the tree is not evergreen, so we're going to skip to 1B, and then it tells us to go down to 3. We go to 3, and then it says the leaves are divided into leaflets, so it's a compound leaf. So we go to number 4, and we know that it has pods because some of them are on the ground.
I recall seeing them.
So we go to number 8, and fruits are thick husked or otherwise. So we're going to go with the otherwise because they contain more than one seed.
More than one.
And so that is going to put us down to number 10, fruits dry capsules or pods, which is what they are. That puts us down to number 11, and it says we've got they're either fruits are inflated or they're elongated and pea-like pods, which is what they are. Puts us down to 12, and 12 we've got 2 choices. Branches usually thorny. There are no thorns on this, so branches without thorn, leaflets 1 to 4, 1.5 to 4 centimeters wide, and that tells us it is a Kentucky coffee tree, Gymnocladus dioicus. So your app was right. It got us to 2 choices. We just had to bring it down further to the 1 choice. Okay, so we've seen 2 applications here today. We've seen the advantages of using an app and the advantages of using a key. And I'm going to talk more specifically about the keys just to summarize. A key, you need to know some basic terminology of plant description. So leaf shapes, bud shapes, flower, fruit, etc. And you need to be able to make those decisions based on those observations. So you're looking carefully at a plant, asking or answering these questions in a key, and then moving on to the next clue. So you've got to have a fairly comprehensive knowledge of plant morphology to be able to accomplish that. As we saw, apps are a great tool. They put us there, but we still need to confirm because sometimes they give us choices. So there are many keys. You can have keys for perennials. You can have keys for shrubs. And in this case, I've used Trees of Ontario to key out this tree behind me. So a key, once you've keyed out a plant, you've identified the plant. And that is the purpose of a plant key. And that leads us then to finding out more about the plant. How can we grow it? How can we care for it? What pests and diseases it has in the landscape? So It's all about identifying a plant, and for us as horticulturalists, being able to grow it in the landscape. So plant keys, a very good way of taking a plant that you maybe don't know what it is and confirming its identity, at least to the genus level and hopefully to the species level.